Welcome back to Proxy, everybody, and today I have a special video planned right before our new detachments come out tomorrow, and that is, of course, our 2-year anniversary video. So just like I did the first year, where I kind of did a video on where we've been and where we're going, I'm going to do the same thing today. I'm going to talk about the successes of the channel. I'm going to talk about the, close calls and the obviously things we need to improve, and where we're going in general. What kind of things are we going to do in the future? How is the channel going to progress? And have we actually made good on some of the promises and, you know, desires that I talked about in last year's anniversary video? So, first, before I talk about all that stuff, I do want to extend my thanks to the community once again. 3 years ago, when I was playing Warhammer 40k, I would have never thought that I would get the chance to create content for the best community in the Warhammer 40k universe. Of course, the Aeldari community. And let me tell you a little bit about my foray into the Eldar, a little bit of history about myself in the hobby. I started playing when I was in second grade. And actually, it wasn't even my idea. A friend got me into it. He said, "Hey, I know this game. It's really cool. It's Warhammer. And I want you to play it with me so we can start collecting enough models to play against my brother's friends." And at the time, I didn't know what Warhammer was, but it sounded cool. So I went with him to a local GW, and the first thing that attracted me was the Eldar. A box of Guardians. I loved the color scheme, I loved how they looked, but I was convinced out of buying that army. I was convinced out of it because my buddies wanted to start Imperial Guard, they wanted to start the Catachans, the Rambos. Back then, Rambo was a very popular movie, and still is, it's a classic, right? So I was convinced into buying Catachans instead. But I didn't really like the Catachans, I have to admit. I was very interested in the Eldar, and I only picked the Catachans to please my buddies. Fast forward a couple years, I've played the game, I've collected a decent sized Imperial Guard army, but I had really left to the hobby for a while, and I encountered a pretty hard time in my own life, in my personal life, when I was a child. And I won't go into it too much, but needless to say, I was in a dark place because of what had happened. And I remember going back to the Warhammer shop because I don't know what it was. I felt like playing again, you know? It was one of those weird things that it just kind of came to me. I think it might have been the dawn of war games, but something inspired me to go back into that shop. And I took one more look at the Eldar, and I thought to myself, this is the army I'm going to play. And I started playing them, painting them. I got more into painting, whereas before I knew nothing of painting or building. I mean, you should have seen the first models I put together. Just absolute abominations. And I really enjoyed it. It took my mind off a lot of the, hard realities of life that I was going through at the time, and really helped me through a dark period. So, for me, the hobby is not just a game, as weird as it sounds. It's something that really brought me through a tough time in my life. So, I've been playing the Aeldari for about 18ish years. I've been playing the game since I was 8 years old, and I guess that'd be 19 years now. God, I'm getting older. But, I truly think that the Aeldari saved my life back then, and that may not be the case for everybody out there, you know, but it's something that's very close to my heart. So I never thought I'd be, of course, making Eldari content on YouTube. And when I was blessed to have people actually start watching my videos and, interact with me, it felt good to feel like I was helping people in a way. My career that I do is I'm a teacher. So I help people who come from other countries, who perhaps didn't get the chance for an education, or perhaps even they were born here but they just never had the opportunity, or they had a struggle in their life that prevented them from doing so. I'm able to help them get their high school diploma and GED. And I love that job. I love it because I'm able to help people and, really make an impact on their lives. And when I started this channel, it was more of a, kind of experiment, a hobby, if you will, to expand my love of teaching into something that saved my own life when I was a kid. And, I'm glad to be sitting here today having this chat with you guys and talking to you guys, being able to express that. So thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much to the Discord community who have been a constant inspiration and, have helped me through through some awkward, kind of things that I've gotten wrong in some of my videos and stuff like that, which has been really helpful. And, just basically helped me make the videos better. And I really appreciate that. The videos still need to become better, obviously, even better than they are now, and I'll talk about that later in the video, but I do want to thank the Discord community for all the support they've given me, and for the support the community has given me. Every single person who comments, well, 99% of the people who comment on my videos, thank you for, the support. I really do appreciate it. So now that I've kind of given you guys that and a little backstory on myself, where is the channel going? Right? Where is it going to be in the next year? Where is it going to be in the next 2 years? So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit and kind of go over what we're going to outline in this video. So we're basically going to break this video down into 3 quick parts. We're going to talk about what we've done so far, what we are doing now, and what we will do in the future. Now, obviously, the future is something, just like an Eldar Farsi would say, has many different skeins of fate, right? We don't know exactly how things are going to turn out. But I have an idea of where I want to take the channel, and I want to share that with you. But we've also accomplished a lot on this channel, and we've also done some stuff that wasn't so successful and that I've learned from, and that will, I'll do better in the future with, now that I've had those experiences. And we'll also talk about what we're doing now and how we're going to continue making content for 2025 and hopefully even longer. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what we've done on this channel. So we have created approximately 473 videos, if not more, realistically, covering a range of Aeldari topics, including tactics, news, hobbying, and interviews. And some of you old supporters will notice that I actually had a YouTube channel before this channel, and it was unfortunately hacked and deleted by some mal content out there. I just didn't have a strong password, I guess, or something, but they just ripped my channel down when I was at like 800 subs. And I restarted everything. Took me about a week to kind of figure out if I even wanted to go through the trouble of it, but I thought it was worth it, and I'm so glad I did. And I got a huge amount of support from the community. A lot of people resubbed. Auspex Tactics gave me a shout out, which was insane, and helped me get back on my feet with the channel and stuff like that. So that was really awesome. So since then, we've created, 473 videos, and it's been awesome. And we've covered all sorts of different stuff. We've also inspired as a community. It's not just me, guys. It's you guys, too, in the comments talking about how much you love the Eldar. Have inspired dozens of people to start collecting and playing with the best faction of the game. And I'm not just making up that number. I'm reading the comments, people saying, "Oh, this is great. This has inspired me to start the Eldar. Now is the time," or people joining the Discord saying, "Hey, I'm new to Eldar because of your channel, because of what people said in your comment section about the Eldar. It really got me hyped to play them." Just absolutely awesome thing that we've been able to accomplish as a community. We've also accumulated over 5,000 subs and built just a fantastic community. In my opinion, one of the best in the entire game. And we have a channel Discord with over 200 active members that actively participate in helping new players get better at the game and, provide a community for players that would normally not have that in their local game store. I mean, the Aeldari, let's be real, guys. And I knew this very early on. When I had my first game of 40K, even as a terrible, terrible Eldar player, like probably the worst Eldar player in the world, back when I started playing, didn't know the rules, didn't know how they worked, didn't know anything about the faction. Just knew that I loved them. Just knew that I loved reading about the lore, about the different units, and that third edition codex, I read that thing with a flashlight under my blanket, and that thing was like a Bible to me. And I don't mean to be blasphemous, but it was like a Bible to me in a way. It was really just amazing. So, having a community, a space where Eldar players can kind of connect on that is awesome. And yeah, so let's address the Eldar thing. A lot of new players are going to start realizing that not a lot of people like Eldar players, or not a lot of people like playing the Eldar. And I think it's just this is how I would take it. It makes you stronger as a person to face adversity like that. I know it seems weird to say that about a game, but it's like that in any hobby space. It's like if you play any game, if you enjoy something a lot and the community doesn't like it, or its play style is different in such a way that creates maybe a fear of the unknown in a lot of people, you're going to have that. But just know that you're there for your own enjoyment as well as the enjoyment of the other player. But if they're trying to hurt your enjoyment in such a way that it's not worth worrying about. And through our shared pain, through the shared pain of the Eldari, hopefully a lot of newer players won't just quit, and won't just quit the army because of that. So what else have we done? We've done a cool couple things on this channel that I want to talk about. So we did create, and this was a success. We haven't updated it quite yet for all the new balance changes and stuff, but I think it still holds up pretty well on the casual level, which is going to be all you're going to be able to play it in anyway. Is a fan-made channel index called the Eldar Knights. So if you guys are interested, we do have a copy of the Eldar Knights index on the Discord. A lot of people forgot about it because I stopped posting about it and stuff, but I've played it several times in casual games when, ever my buddies are like, in the mood for a really casual, just, hey, like, I want to try this alternate rule set or whatever. I bring out the Eldar Knights, and it's usually pretty fun. And this is my and the community's interpretation of the old second edition Epic Army, the Eldar version of Imperial or Chaos Knights, which were called Eldar Knights back in the day. So, honestly, I was able to, with the help of the community, create some data sheets that we thought were balanced. I don't know how balanced they are points wise now and stuff, but it is a really cool concept, and I hope to further this with updates and different things going forward. Now that we're seeing new detachments, perhaps within this next year I'll finalize the Eldar Knights index and turn it into a codex where we have different detachments for it and stuff like that, so that in your casual games, proxy games, whatever. And by the way, you could just proxy Wraith Knights, you could 3D print a lot of this stuff. We have some inspiration type images and stuff like that on the channel, on the Discord channel for, different Eldar Knights and stuff like that. We have a couple people who are actively working on designs for them, but, we've kind of, well, I'll just put it on me because it is me. I've kind of put it on the back burner because there was so much Eldar content in 40K to 10th edition to kind of discuss. But yeah, we have successfully done this thing, and it's really cool, so come check it out. Okay, so let's go into what we're doing now. So what we're doing now is we're continuing to make Eldari content for the community, whether it be interviews with the community, strategy videos, or just things related to the hobby itself, like painting and lore. I do want to get more into the painting side of it, maybe doing a couple painting tutorials on the basics of Eldar. I'm not the best painter out there, but I'm pretty adequate, I would say, at painting models and kind of the fundamentals of painting Eldar specifically because I've been painting them for so long. So hopefully I'm going to put some more content out for that. I do obviously also want to get better as a painter, and just also more interviews with the community. I think those have been really important and stuff like that as well. So I'm also currently in the process of building up a channel army, which I plan to start making battle reports with. So I said this last year, and then there was kind of an emergency in my family that I had to deal with, and unfortunately, the painted models that I had worked on so far, I had to sell those to raise money for something very important. So talked about that a little bit a while ago, but I've kind of rebuilt since then, and I'm about halfway done with the army. I'm about 1,000 points in of fully painted Eldar in the theme of quote unquote Craft World Alliance. And once I get my hands on the rest of it and paint it all up with the amazing new aspect warriors that are going to come out soon, I plan this spring and summer to do some battle reports with it. So, bringing it to the local game store, seeing if, people are willing and able to, be on camera. Because, some people have weird things about that, or really legitimate reasons. Some of my buddies who play in my local gaming group, they just don't want to be on YouTube. They have jobs that they just don't want compromised. Totally understand, and that's why I really don't take a lot of pictures at the games. And also, from a couple of my buddies are just genuinely annoyed by content creation, which is, it seems weird because I'm a content creator, right? But a few of the best guys that I know in my gaming group don't like being part of content creation. They just want to relax. They don't want to worry about impressing anybody. They just want to play Warhammer. They have busy lives. So I totally understand and respect that, and that's why I really don't do it. But I do want to kind of try to meet some people that would be willing to do battle reports and stuff like that in that way. So I do plan on kicking that off within the next year. All right, so now that we've discussed what we're currently doing, what do I plan on doing in the future? So obviously, I just talked about this, but channel battle reports, right? I'm going to do those. Once I'm able to create the atmosphere and playgroup to do so, those will be going up. Channel streams is something I'm also interested in doing. I was, doing this for a little bit early on, and I had a lot of technical issues and stuff like that. But now that I understand OBS and I understand some of the streaming software a little bit better, I think I'll be able to do it a lot better. I also have, Tabletop Simulator under my belt. I've learned how to use that a little bit better. List building through things like New Recruit and stuff. So I've gotten more technologically savvy when it comes to YouTube, and we can start maybe doing more streams and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. We're also going to be talking about a community narrative campaign run over the Discord, exclusive for members over Tabletop Simulator. I will have the details to come in a later video, but it is going to be our community thing. Every year I try to do some sort of community video or community thing that brings the community together. I've had, kind of painting compilation videos. I've had narrative campaigns, which the narrative campaign, by the way, I just want to let you guys know, for those guys who remember the narrative campaign that we did, it was a partial success. I don't count it as a full success because we didn't really get a lot of participation after week 1. And it was a vast amount of work for something that only, I think, at the end of it, we had 2 players that were actively participating in the campaign. So, to be honest, that's why I stopped doing that. The campaign came to a close. I closed the narrative on that. I wrote a little story up on the, channel community page, and, posted a couple updates, and that's about it. But we are going to have an updated version of this over the channel Discord, so that everything can be, approved and go through the Discord and stuff like that, so it can all be official. We can all view it. You'll have to obviously record your games, submit them, and then they will become part of the narrative. That's at least the hope. So again, I'm still hashing out the details, but that will come in a later video, so stay tuned for that. And let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. I think it's a cool idea. A lot of people have access to, computers and can, they have the specs to run Tabletop Simulator, even if they have a terrible potato computer like mine, So yeah, I think that's pretty accessible and something that we can get a lot of players into, and hopefully we can create a cool narrative around the Aeldari that is not doomed to the whims of GW. Okay, so that's the plan, but I do want to also address something else with you guys, and I want to address a few of the channel controversies and what I can do better as a content creator, and also just, kind of the direction that a few of you have seen the channel go in certain ways, and that maybe are not so happy with it. So I do want to address that because I think it's important. Now, the first thing is something I take full responsibility for is the sound quality has been reduced on my videos. Probably for about 3 months, 2 or 3 months now, the sound quality of my videos has been worse than it had been before. Now, let me explain why. Basically, what happened was Adobe, in all of their all of their corporate glory, decided they were going to get rid of Adobe Spark. I, as a teacher, have access to Adobe products for free, and that's kind of what I have to use, or else I have to spend, sometimes thousands of dollars a month on those kind of products. I'm not a huge YouTuber. I'm not, making millions or anything like that. In fact, most months I'm lucky to break a couple $100 on YouTube. So, that's kind of where it is. I don't do this for money, so I don't have the equipment for it, right? So I have to use what I have. And when they got rid of Adobe Spark, I had to start essentially using my computer to do the recordings from this new thing called Adobe Express. And Adobe Express, guys, doesn't have a video recording thing. So what I have to do is I have to do it kind of like a stream. I have to stream my own videos live. And there's been some advantages to that. It's definitely helped me create content in a more timely manner, but it's also had issues with sound and quality issues here and there that I just can't help, that I was able to cut out of other videos because of how Adobe Spark worked, but with Adobe Express you can't do it. So unfortunately, the sound quality has been less, but I do plan on upgrading my recording setup soon so that the audio in my videos is better. And if you guys know any way to improve the audio in my videos, I use OBS to record. I have a basic headset with a noise suppression, feature on it, and I also use noise suppression in OBS, but even so, the sound is not where it should be. So if you guys, any tech guys out there, are really good with audio or really good with OBS or anything like that, let me know in the comments. And if you want to help me out, I'd really appreciate it. You know, and obviously you don't have to do it, but just if you want to and you have the knowledge for it and you're willing to, share some time with me, I'd really appreciate it. The other thing that I said I was going to do, but ended up not really doing too much this year, was covering the Drukhari and Ynnari. I've covered Ynnari a couple times, I've covered Drukhari a couple times, but I really haven't covered them that much. And that is because, and you kind of heard this in my last video, with the Drukhari, I've had sort of a frustration over the edition where I love the Dark Eldar. I love them a whole lot. Actually, one of my favorite army lists of all time wasn't even an Eldar army list. It was a Drukhari one, a Dark Eldar one in 5th edition called Webway Portal. Some of you guys may remember that type of list. But it was just a fantastic time. It was so fun. It was so different. Every game felt unique. And it was truly a pleasure to play. And since then, I have been chasing the magic dragon on this one, guys. I've been chasing that magic dragon, trying to seek that next high with the Dark Eldar, and I just haven't been able to find it. I came close in 9th edition to being able to find that high, quote unquote, from the Dark Eldar, but in 10th edition, it totally turned itself on its head, and I just was not able to extract any joy out of the index. Don't get me wrong, I think right now they're in a pretty balanced state as far as competitive play, but they're just not fun to play in my opinion. I am somebody who doesn't play an army because they're good competitively. I want them to be fun and interactive, and I want them to have really cool rules. And the Dark Eldar just don't. A lot of the rules are subpar at best, and what makes them effective is that there's so many of them on the battlefield, and every time I play them, I have a good time, but usually I have a good time because I like Warhammer, and it's not because I like what I'm playing, right? You could throw a Space Marine army to me, I'd play them, and I'd probably have a good time because I like Warhammer. But, I do like the Dark Eldar. I do want to give them another chance. I hope that the new detachment is better. I hope it's fun. I hope it's interactive. And I hope it does a lot for the index. The Ynnari, I've been a big fan of. but I just haven't gotten around to doing many videos on them. And they're a unique army. I don't play them often, but they are also really cool, and I'm going to be covering them a lot when the Codex comes out, so stay tuned for that. And I really do hope to cover Drukhari more when they get their new index detachment. If their new detachment is really fun and really interactive, I'll do a bunch of content on them. If it sucks, if it's boring, I probably won't. Gotta be honest with you, you know? And the other thing about the Dark Eldar that has kind of plagued them a little bit this edition is when they were really strong, they were only really strong because of the cheese and unintended rules that GW came out with in Brian Nexus. So people saw them skyrocket up to like 50 something percent win rate, and they were like, "Oh, Dark Eldar are super strong now." And it's like, yeah, they are, but it's because of cheese things, and it's because you can, you know, basically the whole transport thing, the skimmer thing, where you could, deep strike with a raider, turn it, and then charge and get like a 6-inch charge off with it, and just all sorts of BS, which wasn't intended. So that was a reason why a lot of the Drukhari stuff was like really overtuned for a little bit, was because of those interactions. Now we've seen a huge nerf to Drukhari and their Sky Splinter. I've been trying to play Real Space Raid again and trying to get into the Taloses and Chronoses and stuff, which are my favorite models in the Dark Eldar range, but that can't carry the whole faction, right? My love for the rules of a couple different units can't carry the whole faction for me and can't carry my interest. So, and again, I'm also not the best Dark Eldar player out there, right? So there is that. Okay, so I also want to start adding timestamps and other quality of life improvements to my videos. I know I've gotten this request before. Why don't you have timestamps, Proxy? You have these like hour-long videos sometimes of like, tier lists and stuff like that with no timestamps. What's going on? And it's really just because at first I didn't know how to do it, and then once I did know how to do it, the daunting task of going through every video and and listening to you guys have no idea. I listen to my videos like 3 or 4 times sometimes over the course of its 2 days, just to make sure I'm not like making huge mistakes. And even then sometimes I'm just so busy with work and life that I just totally forget, and I just totally mess up, and I leave something in there that I shouldn't. I have to go back and fix it. So adding timestamps to all my past videos has been a little bit of a daunting task for me, and a little bit of like almost like a mental block. But I am going to start doing it, especially when we get into the new codex stuff. I really do want to make sure that new players getting into the Eldar know exactly where to find stuff in my videos. So I am going to work on that. And, I know I've been dragging my ass a little bit on that. So I'm sorry, guys. I know I have some people that are, truly just trying to be constructive, saying, hey, where's the timestamps? You know, and then, I don't put them in, and it's like, oh, well, but I will start putting them in with the new, with the new codex in the new year. I am going to be more consistent with it. Now, one last thing I want to talk about, not too much because it's, it's not something that I think I'm going to change, and I've thought about it a lot, but I'm just not going to do it for a number of reasons. And none of those reasons have to do with clickbaiting or, rage baiting or whatever. So that is the video thumbnails. Now, when this channel started, a couple of you guys will notice some of the old thumbnails were like comic, almost in a comic style, where I would have a an image, an art image of the Eldar, and then the Eldar would be saying different things, but it was like kind of like breaking the fourth wall stuff. It was like stuff about modern life, like and that was in an attempt to be funny with it. Like, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, what are the Eldar except plastic models on a table that we're playing with? So like, I thought it'd be funny to like, oh, they're self-aware that they are these plastic models being played in this game, and it'd be funny if they were saying different stuff as to the content of the video. Well, what happened with that, and the reason I stopped doing it, is because no one read them. And I was hearing, comments like, oh, we can't read the thumbnail, or, oh, I don't understand what they're saying because, it's too small, the writing's too small. There was just no way to make that better. So I ended up doing a different style where I kind of made statements about what the video was going to be on, about my opinions about the video, or my first reaction to something I saw, or, my just, what was in my heart about the topic that we're talking about and in my brain. And a lot of them, actually, some people had issues with it because, they thought it was clickbait, or they thought it was, rage bait or whatever, or was misleading. But I've taken that seriously because I looked into it and I really thought about it. I sat down and I said, are these thumbnails actually clickbait? Right? And I've gone through other YouTubers as well and kind of looked at their videos and, what is clickbait, what isn't. And I've determined that it's not clickbait. Okay? And I know that's coming from me, but I don't see it as clickbait. I think clickbait is when you mislead people that are going to click or watch the video into thinking something that the video is about, and then the video ends up not being about that. I've been guilty of that only once by mistake, and it was a total accident, and I kind of understood after the fact that the title was misleading, and it was, of course, as some of you guys will remember this, it was the infamous new detachment, the Bealtan detachment thing that I had. I made up a detachment by myself, a fan detachment for the Bealtan, and I basically, the title of my video was "A New Detachment Rises from the Ashes" or something like that. And everybody, obviously was so excited to see it, and then they found out, oh wait, this is just his detachment that he's made, and then they were super pissed about it, right? But I never said it was like GW's official detachment or anything like that. So I had some confusion on that, but I'll take credit for that one. That was my bad. But the other videos like fire dragons are going to do this, or swooping hawks are going to swoop to the skies and ascend to the gods, or warp spiders are going to change the face of the game. I actually do believe that stuff. It's just not, obviously it's exaggerated a little bit for dramatic effect, right? And I do this with everything, guys. That's just me. I love the Eldar. I have a huge enthusiasm for the faction. Of course, I'm going to hype up the best faction in the game, right? How boring would it be if I just sat there and said, the title of my video was just Warp Spiders Are Good, period. 10th edition Eldar Tactics, period. That's just not my style. That's not, I wouldn't be happy putting out content like that. So, even though the essence of the content would be the same, I don't know. I just think the title's boring. I've always been kind of a person who, even in their essays writing in school, or my college essays and stuff, I had the most insane titles, right? Like, I had the most interesting titles. Like, my roommates would come to me and say, hey, would you make a title for this essay? I have no idea what to title it. And I read their essay and I would say, this is what your title should be. And they'd be like, dude, it's fantastic. I can't believe it. And then they'd show me the teacher's marks, great title. Anyway, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I love making titles. It's fun. It's exciting for me. And at the end of the day, that's just a personal thing for me. So when you guys are clicking on my videos, and you're going into the video and you don't agree with something, maybe you don't think warp spiders are going to be the end all be all of 40k. That's fine. Obviously not, right? But I'm hyping them out because I love the unit, and I think they could be if used in the right hands, right, with the right strategies and tactics and synergies. So just keep that in mind. I'm not trying to clickbait you guys. I'm not trying to slap the community. I think somebody said I was trying to slap the Eldar community in the face. I'm definitely not doing that. That's not it. It's just I like making titles. I like them to be a little bit exaggerative. I like them to be epic, right? I mean, this is the best faction in the game. We're talking about the Aeldari. At least to me, that's my opinion. So yeah, my titles are going to be that. So that is that. Now there were some other things that were discussed in some of the, and I won't go into it, but there were inappropriate things that I put in some of my past thumbnails. I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm not gonna try to put inappropriate stuff in my thumbnails anymore. I understand it's funny to me, but maybe it's not funny to somebody else. So I'll go ahead and I'll take that under consideration, and I won't do it. But, as for the, quote unquote clickbait or the exaggerated titles, that's just YouTube. That's also just YouTube, guys. A lot of creators are eccentric, and I'm eccentric. I'm a pretty eccentric person, so that's what it's going to be. So I just wanted to address that for you guys. Nothing's going to change. I will obviously make sure that they're not inappropriate, like, they're not overly sexual, or they're not like something like that, even though I think that stuff's sometimes funny. I won't put that in there because I understand it's of a sensitive nature to some people. So anyway, so thought I'd add that in. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Personally, on a personal level, I think exaggerating something isn't quite clickbait, right? Clickbait is when you misrepresent what, you're saying, the content of the video in relation to the title of the video. That's what I think clickbait is truly. Clickbait is something like, and I've seen this so many times on YouTube channels, like, this is the end, period, 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 or I'm quitting YouTube, period, period, period. And then it's like, you end up watching the video and it's like, oh, they're not quitting YouTube, or oh, they're not, nothing's really happening. There's nothing that's, of dire need that this, video is talking about. It's just, or I've seen a couple of them like GW is about to be destroyed, and it's like the video is about how GW raised their prices. It's totally different than what the topic is, right? So anyway, not that that's a big deal. I'm not against clickbait. Honestly, I'm just not. I understand the need for content creators to create videos that are going to attract people with the title. But anyway, I just thought I'd let you guys know about that and just put the thumbnail in the coffin, if you will, about the whole issue. So anyway, yeah. All right. So that leaves us with the last part of this video. And of course, again, Adobe wants to be stupid and have their little pop-up come up at the wrong time. Anyway, so in conclusion, we'll wrap up this video with, it's been an absolutely fantastic couple of years on YouTube, and I really do appreciate everybody who comments, who likes the videos, even the dislikers, by the way. There's people who I know who you are, man. Like, you can't I know who you guys are that are disliking, but I'm fine with it because that's all part of it. I think I want people also to criticize my work, and definitely if there's critiques, let me have it. Um, I think that's a good way to give me feedback and support. And I do truly enjoy reading and engaging with you guys on every video. Again, even the salty mandrakes out there who are sitting there disliking the video because of the thumbnail or I don't know, whatever, maybe you just find me annoying. That's fine. Honestly, sometimes I find myself annoying, to be honest with you. But, I still, you guys are still part of the community. I love you guys. I hope to continue to grow the Eldari community for many years to come, and I hope that you guys can all come along for the ride, Mandrake or no. And thank you so much again for, including me within this community. It is truly the best in the hobby itself. So thank you. And I guess we'll end the video there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about what I talked about in the video, and I am super excited for the detachments tomorrow. We're going to have a whole video on that, and it's going to be epic. I'm super excited. We're going to have 2 detachments. Of course we need 2, right? We are the superior species of the galaxy, so of course we're going to have more detachments than everyone else. That's just a no-brainer. So anyway, guys, one last thing before I go. If you want to join my Patreon, I will have the link in the description. You get free access to our Discord community. You can sign up for a free trial, and you don't have to pay a thing. Please join us. It'd be awesome to have more people in the Discord. And if you want to grab some Eldar-inspired apparel or discounted Eldar minis, I will leave the links for my Amazon affiliate and channel store page in the description as well. Alright guys, peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next video when we talk about those detachments. Have a good one, everybody.